Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 78th episode of the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
Doing great, Collins. Happy to be here now. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, but as well, there may be some questions. Why is this late? Blah blah blah. So this is actually like I would say it's our third time. I think that's pretty confident trying this because the first time we tried and then it didn't work, and then we tried offline and that kind of worked, but also kind of didn't work. So, and then my computer just like decided to fail on me, but it's probably my fault that it did. But still, it did happen, and then I had to reset it. So, I was having some computer issues for the last couple days where I couldn't stream. So I tried streaming like 2 days ago, and I just couldn't actually stream there was no feed really coming out. And then I tried recording the podcast with Shady, but Shady couldn't hear anything I was saying. Well, that's not true, but like it was very sped up, robotic, that kind of thing, and um, couldn't get a feed out. The video feed didn't work. All that nonsense, uh, and it just wasn't usable. We did do an online version because that was a bit better, but after I did it, I realized that it only recorded like the first 30 minutes, so uh, that wasn't really usable either. So I decided, okay, I'll fix the computer. Ended up restarting it, and that did solve a lot of the issues. So now it does seem to be working pretty smoothly. But that is the reason for the delay for why I haven't been around a couple of days, unfortunately.
But now we're here and we're talking battlegrounds.
Yeah,
Let's
now
go.
we're here. The issue though is like I don't have all the normal stuff that people have like installed. I don't have my Spotify. I don't have any of that. I'm pretty much figuring out what I need and then like installing it as I need it. And now that I'm starting a stream, I'm like, oh yeah, I usually have the music player. I usually have my Hearthstone extension, all that stuff. None of it's installed. So I'm gonna have to do some work for that, but should be
Yeah,
fine.
it's not the worst, though, right? You get rid of a lot of the stuff you weren't using.
Yeah. In a week, everything should be like pretty smooth, right? Like the first couple of days will be annoying, but in a week, like once you figure out like the things that you use, you start downloading them, then it'll be back to normal. So just say like this one's gonna be weird.
All right. It is a little weird because we did record this one. We're essentially going to re-record it.
Yeah,
But
that is
that
definitely not something we do often. Well, I would say ever, where we
the first
have,
time.
yeah, we always first time everything, so it's pretty organic. Now we're gonna have a bit of a like I've said this before, So I wonder how that's gonna feel, but
Right
we'll
now
try
we
it. We'll
call
see.
it extra refined, extra, just condensed down. So what's our first topic, Collins?
Well, first topic is a weekly overview. You know this, Shady. We just every
A
time.
weekly overview. Oh, Lord, yeah, no, I didn't
But
see
now
that
the
one.
week's even longer. However, I haven't played right since the computer. I had computer issues because I
Right,
couldn't.
right. You
I
need a
couldn't.
computer to play, huh? Well, I guess you don't. You could use your phone, but yeah, sure. You
Well,
were
not really.
preoccupied.
I actually did
And
play one game to test if it works. I did play a test game to test if it works, and it does work,
mhm.
right? So I know I can play Hearthstone, but between like these last 4 days, I haven't played. But other than that, I have been playing generally. And when we recorded it before, I had played a little bit more than that, and I was just kind of I guess what did we talk about? We're just talking about how the meta feels different or how the meta has felt different since I've come back.
Yeah.
And essentially it hasn't felt like too different for me, but maybe that's just I've played so much that even if I'm away for a bit, it's not like, oh wow, I've found a new like eureka, I've hit it, I've discovered the hidden mechanics of the meta. I would say people are playing a little bit less reliant on the quests and just trying to get good board states, which I think makes a lot of sense. And then you can win off your quest, right? That's not unavailable, but it's not the only thing you can do. There are other avenues to try to win the game. So I think that's pretty cool. Still happy Parasol's out. I think that was just a good bug. Bug good. Dude. Like keep that bug is my thought process on that. But other than that, I think it's been pretty good. How's your week? I know you have your week's a little bit different than mine in that you're actually pushing for Lobby Legends, where I'm just like sitting here, like nope.
I mean, I'm also sort of just sitting here. I'm going to be honest. It's been the last 2 days has been sort of the morning. Let's go chat, quick little in and out, grab some points, get the rank back, and chill. So yeah, I'm currently rank 11.
Okay.
We've got 6 hours to go.
Okay. Okay.
It's
That sounds good.
looking good, but yeah, I mean, you never know last minute, right? So we'll see. It's kind of like this thing where the people at the bottom start pushing, and then the people that are barely in, they start getting nervous and they start playing, and then obviously they could lose, and that makes it very easy. Then the people above them aren't going to budge. But essentially, the scenario is everybody keeps winning, everybody keeps playing. That makes the people just below me, right, play, and then but that's a lot of stuff that needs to happen in 6 hours, which can happen, but we'll see.
You want to
We'll,
talk about the like the ladder first before we do other topics, or do you want to do the esporters first, which is what we did last time? But since we're kind of already talking about the ladder, it's like, oh,
you can go with
whatever
whatever
you
you
want. I
want.
knew it. All right, we're just gonna drive the ladder topic first. I think before we get into it, since we're already talking about it, I've been away for a month or so, and I haven't really recovered the distance, I guess, and how far people have climbed. I also haven't really like played super hard since I've come back. I would say like I've definitely been more casual about it. So there's definitely a lot of people pushing. This data was like 3 days ago, I guess, when we recorded it, right? So I'm sure the
Yeah, I moved a
placements
little
have
bit.
swapped.
I think I got a second place in between them.
Wow, you've
No,
played one game, is that what?
no. I got -5 for a third, and
Okay.
then I got like 40 for a second because I lost to Soren, which was really frustrating because I was so strong, but he just had like good combat 3 fights in a row to kill me. I just needed to win one, and it was really annoying.
Sounds like
Couldn't kill him.
excuses.
Yeah, but it's great excuses. Yeah, I'm full of excuses, Collins. You should know that by now.
Uh,
It was the RNG, man. I would have won it. Yeah, no. But I mean, overall, 40 for a second is almost the first at that level.
mhm.
I the
Yeah.
the the craziest thing was it was super clear when I won 50 for a first and I lost 25 for a straight fourth. That gave a very clear picture of how climbing happens. It was so insane because you think about it, right? You get like a first place, nice. Here you go, 50 points. Top four, not bad. I'll take half the points you got for first. Thank you very much. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, dude, that's so savage.
I've been there, Shady, multiple times. I know how
See,
difficult it is.
it's so crazy because like I think RDU's chat is a good place to hang out usually the last day because he,
Mhm.
he plays a lot, sometimes the whole time up
Right.
until it closes where he'll play on a Smurf and he's camping or whatever. And it's so mind-blowing to just have people in the chat being like, man, it's only like 100 points between you and the guy. You should probably play. I think you're taking too many risks by not playing. It's like he literally needs first or second or he loses MMR, guys. You just don't understand. Like, you're being so reckless. You're just like not playing or what? It's so mind-boggling. Like
Well,
they don't pay attention to the numbers when he plays, I guess.
I think it makes sense when you look at it from their perspective, right? So like, let's say like the average player is like, maybe 5K, maybe less than that, right? And you get first, you get plus 100. You get last, you get, minus 60 a lot of the time, right? It's not
No, I think the baseline is plus 100 minus 100 for the average. Like
uh,
I think
I
that's the definition
I
of
don't know.
average,
I
right?
don't know if that's the baseline when you're climbing. I guess like once you're past like 6K, 7K, that is the baseline. But I think if you're
I
if
think
you're
if
like
you're
casual,
I think if you're at the MMR you're supposed to be, meaning your external and internal line up, I think you get 100 for a win, 100 for an eighth.
But
Well, minus 100.
that's what do you mean by the MMR you're supposed to be? Because I would
Well,
say like,
so yeah, so let's say your internal MMR is 4.5
oh, but
and your
that's not
external is
true.
also
Because like
showing 4.5.
then what do you say about the people that are like rank 10? Are they just not supposed to be rank 10? You know what I mean?
No. I'm saying for the vast majority of players, right? It's only once you're past a very, very high MMR, that's where it starts to get out of balance, where your internal can reflect your external, but you're still gonna be off, right, with the point gain. I'm saying if you're like in the middle, like you're talking, like if you're talking dead average, you're talking the average player, if they
Oh,
win
you're
around.
okay. You're just saying like statistically average. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
I hear what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying.
I mean, but I know. Okay, so let's say you're climbing and you're like 6K or whatever. Yes, you don't gain 100 per win anymore. I don't know. I don't know.
I've
I
never
don't
been
play
there,
that.
such shady.
Yeah,
I've never experienced this. I have
that
no
sounds
idea.
like such a bourgeois. Like I don't know what these peasants get for a first place, man. I don't know.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I think they get the point, right? They get the point.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gain more points if you're lower ranked for a first. That's the point.
Fair enough. Yeah. But I I am saying like if you're an average player, you think climbing it like playing games is not like net negative, I guess, right? Like to play
Yeah.
games, you don't on average be lose. Like if you play games, you'll like either stay the same or you'll climb a little bit, like on average. But that's not the case when you're like top 10, top 20. On average you'll lose points because
The
the
exception is
system wants you
climbing.
to go
Yeah.
back to the mean. It wants you to drop. So you have to overachieve every time you play, basically, if you
Yeah,
want to
you
continue
have to
climbing.
really walk. I have this rule for myself where if I'm not feeling confident, if I don't be like, all right, I'm gonna play for first every single game, I can't. Well, from the start, right? Obviously, there's exceptions where you've seen the quest, you've seen the hero, blah blah. You might make an adjustment, but if you're not hard going for the first, you shouldn't play on a top 10 account or top 25 account because it's like if you don't get first or second, you're losing. So you're going to get a bad game at some point, and you need to make up for that with lots of firsts and seconds. So if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling that, okay, I'm gonna, almost no matter what, I'm gonna push for first or second, and it's not a good day to play there.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the same rule because I just play when I'm I don't really care. I'm just like I'll just play a game. I guess what more happens is I'll play and then if I lose then I'll stop. Which is a little bit different
Right, right.
because then you're always losing. You're always stopping on a loss.
Well,
Which
it is hard to tell before you start playing, right? But sometimes I'll notice in my own play where I'm playing far too defensive
oh
because I'm a good defensive player, but on ladder there's a time and a place for that. And if I'm doing it too much, meaning I'm pushing too much for like a deflector ground shaker setup, I'm pushing too much for beast. Where there's good spots to do that, right? They're great save comps. Sometimes you win MMR off those as well. Sometimes you get a first place off those, but for ladder, it's really okay. I got to get those Orgozoa Tissa boards. I got to get those Dark Gaze go hard. I got to get that brand Snicker Snag,
mhm.
billion health Murlocs. That's the stuff where you say, okay, I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna lock in the win, and kind of no matter what they have, I'll win anyway.
Yeah,
Like you want to
okay.
play a good amount of those.
You did remind me of an issue that I do have sometimes where um I play it and I realize I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing well, or I'm not playing I'm not playing up to the level I need to climb.
Yeah,
But then I get like top two, top three, and I'm like, oh,
it's okay, I
it's
guess. Yeah,
okay. So I just keep going, but I know I'm not playing well. So like every like basically what happens, every position I get is usually one down what I should get. So if
Mhm.
I get a second, I don't ever win basically. And if I'm supposed to win, if I get a second instead. If I'm supposed to get a third, I get a fourth, right? And
I
that's
feel you.
really
Yeah.
bad. If you're trying to like climb, but
Because you're going to find the bad game, right? And when it comes around, all those small results are
yeah.
completely nullified. Yeah, yeah, no.
So
Yeah,
essentially, what happens? I'll play like I play till I lose. It'll be like second, third, fourth, third, second, eighth, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then so it's like plus 0, plus 5, plus 20, plus 0, plus 5, minus 10, minus 40, and then minus 120, right? So you've played your 6 games. Net, I'm like down 100. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty savage for sure.
Yeah, and that's not worth
I,
playing. You know what I mean?
that's I,
That's
I think that's what you were describing there. That's definitely the feeling that I have where I'm playing too defensive, where those +5 -10 games. I think you were even in my stream one time where I was playing for a finish and I was just playing, I don't know, my 7th or my 8th hour, and I just got too many of those, like third, fourth, fifth, like around the middle the whole time.
yeah,
And I was kind of just going neutral, but I could
right.
feel that the bad one was coming at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So that's when I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break.
It's
I'm gonna come
funny.
back
I,
in the
I feel
evening.
like I know what you're talking
No,
about.
you were there. You were there, and then I played again in the evening, and it was fine.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? Like I just needed a refresh, and then it was fine, and I was ready to play for the win again. But yeah, if you're too tired, it's hard to fully optimize, and you need every little advantage you can get when you're in that spot.
Yeah, so it's funny, right? You know how it says it looks like something went wrong? Like we did talk about it in the first one, but this one, I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it. So we're just skipping
Yeah.
that completely, that whole section that I did in the previous one. Oh man. I kind of feel like posting the messed up version just so, just to have here. It's like 30 minutes, Like, oh, here's the first 30 minutes that we didn't have. But
I think we're fine without that.
I don't know, guys. If you guys are interested, just let me know.
That's for we can do Patreons. Like you guys can listen to the scrapped versions. Like we have one, right? It's like we have one the one podcast that never made it to air, right? It's just us talking. Yeah.
Fair enough.
New content. Okay.
We do have a ton of like discussions before the podcast that I don't
We
record.
do, yeah.
But what
No,
if I
that's a
start
good idea.
recording them?
The shit talk pre-podcast. Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to put that in the under.
That's fine. We'll make it a subscriber only thing, Collins. It'll be fun. Yeah, I think last time I also mentioned that look out for the last days, guys, because it's gonna be fun to watch. But it's the last day, so by the time this airs, then it's already the 1st of November or later, so it doesn't matter. So whatever, I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But yeah, you can see where everybody ended on the leaderboard. Usually there'll be a screenshot or a list on Twitter.
Yeah,
From the
Hearthstone Esports usually has it.
Yeah, the Hearthstone Esports. So if you're interested to see who made it or not, you can go to Twitter, Hearthstone Esports, and they'll usually have a list of the 16 of each region.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Next
Ready
topic
to go
we've got is the esporter leagues that we will be having. Once again, I don't want to do it.
Oh, me again. All right, no, that makes sense. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Collins. We have a very cool event coming up where we've partnered up with eSporter. You guys can sign up for a coaching package, I suppose, that lasts 4 weeks, where 1 hour per week there will be coaching, 1 hour per week there will be VOD review, and then you guys will also play each other in the meantime to practice. But to really, and that is already good, right? That's good. We want to get better. There's opportunity to get feedback from your peers. You'll be coached by us. But the really cool part of the event is that at the end of those 4 weeks, we will have a tournament where I have my top 4 students versus Collins' top 4 students, and they're going to duke it out in a Battlegrounds lobby, and we will be casting that tournament. There will also be some prize money involved where a portion of whatever you guys pay to get the coaching sessions, that will then be funneled back into the prize support. So there'll be something on the line that'll be fun to watch. And even if you guys have no interest in getting coached, it'll be a very fun event to watch. It'll be broadcast on Twitch. Right now, we've extended the period by 1 week that you guys can sign up. So normally it was going to be closed, I think today.
Like today, yeah.
So we should have another week. So this is the 31st. So you should have, I think, until the 6th, that's Sunday, to sign up for that. So if by Collins' good graces, we will have a link in the description. You can go and check that link in said description. Click it; it'll take you to the esporter site,
Oh
and
my
you
god.
can sign up there. That should be a lot of fun. I'll probably grab it for the live viewers if they wanna. If they wanna, if they can't wait, I'll have it there as well. But yeah, that's essentially it. So it's gonna be coaching, and then we have a nice grand finale where it's gonna be the senseis battling each other through the students.
That is actually funny. First of all, you covered everything. So good on that. I'm very happy to hear that. Second of all, that's why doing a second take sucks. Because I don't have that same reaction that I had the first time.
You knew it was coming, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
I caught him off guard the first time. Yeah, it was like bam. He's like, whoa, 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 a link, a description. What is all this?
Exactly. Here I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll probably do it.
I've thought about it. It seems reasonable.
It
It's
seems
fine.
reasonable. Yeah, you sold me. For
They
sure.
probably need a link to sign up. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, definitely, I do think it's going to be a cool event for everyone, even if you're not going to join for the actual league itself. I do think watching the tournaments and seeing whether well who coaches better. I actually know the answer to that. Whether how bad I destroy Shady's opponent. Shady's students here. Yeah. It's going to be pretty interesting. So if you want to watch the inevitable, I guess you'll have to see it
Some
there.
big talk right there. I'm
Ah,
gonna teach these guys to buy Deflectabots, right? You have no
yeah,
chance.
you're gonna teach them to get second. And I'm gonna teach them to win, Shady. That's right.
That's fine. If my guys keep getting second, third, and fourth, and your guys get first, five, six, what is it? 8, 7, 6. That's gonna be fine. Yeah.
You'll have 1 second in the whole thing, and I'll take the rest
All
of
right,
them. Just
Collins.
quiz
We'll
you.
see. We'll see. All right, let's go next.
All right, sounds good. All right, so next topic. It is the last week of Lobby Legends, so now it's pretty much
Last month, right?
yeah, the
Or
last month.
yeah.
I mean, it is essentially this is
The
the last.
last edition this year. I guess
Yeah.
that's the clearest. Yeah, it'll be the
So
last Lobby Legends this year.
so after this month, there won't be any Lobby Legends. This is the ninth one, the final one, and since it is the final one, I wanted to just go over the year of review, just kind of talk about Lobby Legends in itself and how we felt about it, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. It's kind of funny because we've already done this already. We've already talked
That's
about
gonna
it.
come up for every topic, Colin. So we're just
I
gonna have to
know, but
roll.
like it's so novel to me to already have discussed everything we've talked about.
I have thoughts. It's like I have a script. That's amazing. Yeah.
But I guess I'll start it out just kind of my so the first
Sure.
thoughts when I think about Lobby Legends, and how was it? Really happy that it was done, right? I do think for a while, constructors had their esports events, and it's I guess coming from Arena, there's always been that lack of like, oh, I wish there was some type of consistent tournament structure for Arena or whatever, and having that for BGs I think has been really good. Also, really helpful for just like having people try their best, trying to compete for the top spots and try to have weight in every game, right? I think while I was uh, pushing for top 16, every game felt important. Every game felt impactful. It was really fun to when you win. It was really fun. I would say also when you lose, it stings harder. That is true.
Yeah.
But since I was competing, I was doing well. Like it was there was a lot of good moments, I guess, for me where I was like, oh, I really outplayed. I really did well this game. So in itself, just the addition of Lobby of Legends made all the games more meaningful, which I think was really cool. Um, and then just having a tournament structure, I think, is also good to play in, right? Like I do think since I did play in a lot of the qualifiers, a lot of the those games, it did feel cool to play in them, right? Where I guess you maybe have a different experience if you were just like shy of the the qualification. Like if you were consistently top 20 but not top 16, that probably feels bad. But for me, I definitely enjoyed it and definitely played it. I do think that I heard from other people that there were some, like, it did feel like, oh, it's too difficult to compete or it's too exclusive where you have to top 16, and that doesn't even guarantee you getting in, right? You also then you have to make it into the top 12, I guess, of the 48 that join. You also have to do that as well. So uh, before you're even like shown on a Blizzard um, event, right? Like the qualifiers are cool and all, but it's, if you always do that and you don't make it, then it's hard to say, oh, I was never on the screen for the Blizzard Lobby Legends event. So that is difficult, but I think it's hard to change that. It's hard to say, oh, let's add more people. Even already the tournament or is long, and the the amount of effort required is a lot. So to increase that or make it larger is would be pretty difficult. So uh, that is like my initial take on Lobby Legends. I do think it's great to have it, and um, even though it can be difficult to get in, I myself had a good time like trying to get there and work towards that. So that was what I would say.
Yeah, so you were talking about the exclusivity factor, I suppose, where it might feel like it's a great event to you, but you can understand that
Hmm.
because there can only be 16 players per region, and then of those 16 players, only 12 combined will make it to the final stage, then the four with China joining them. So that is I think that's a valid argument there, but at the same time, I really like the format, even though I have not made it into the final stage yet, where I'm playing in the actual Lobby Legends
Mm.
um, tournament. I'm totally fine with that because I think it should be exclusive, where you want the best of the best. I think the more people you I think if you deserve to be there, you'll be there. And that's maybe a little harsh to say, but we have some incredibly consistent names, especially when it comes to leaderboard. When you see who is always qualifying, who is always just there, it's always like Waterloo, XQN, right? These names, like, they're just always up there. So it's not a matter of, oh, am I going to get lucky enough this month to qualify? It's no, if you're really good, if you're really, really the best of the best, that's a given, right? You will qualify. Like the top 16, it's not an argument. It's not something you're going to be sweating for. It's really that 48 player tournament, the pre-stage to Lobby Legends. That's the hurdle, I think, for a lot of those really, really strong players. But even then, a lot of them are super consistent at making it to the last stage. So I'm totally fine with keeping it as it is. As we mentioned, this is, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just breathing. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were like, let me
No,
let
I'm just
me
breathing.
interject. All right. Yes, you continue breathing, please, Collis. That's very good.
I'll try.
the yeah. So the thing I brought up last time we talked about this, which you guys didn't hear, is that I wouldn't mind to have something parallel to this, because it is an argument indeed that it is quite exclusive, but I think that that is fine if you want to watch really high level battlegrounds. You essentially have the guarantee that anyone on your screen, when you are down to the final 16 and then the final 8, they are extremely, extremely good. They've just been tested over and over and over again. Like, if they make it to that stage, they are solid. They're extremely good players. But it is also, I think, fun to allow more players to try their hand in competitive play. Now, we do see some community tournaments around, but nothing massive, nothing with big prize support. So it would be fun to also see some open tournaments where you just have um, maybe not an unlimited amount of players that can register, but whatever they can handle, whatever they can process, where usually it's 64 and then 128 and then 200, whatever. That's my math.
156.
56. Yeah. So that. Those are like big tournaments, 256, and then all the way down to the final 8 at the end. That's the that would be really, really fun to participate in, and that would also give the weekend warriors, right, the people who are pretty damn good at BGs, but who just are shy of that top 16, right? They'll make it to the leaderboards quite often. They'll be top 100 a lot of the time, but they just don't make that push to the top 16 consistently enough to qualify for Lobby Legends. It would be very, very fun for them to be able to join there because you can always run hot for a day as well, where you're playing extremely well, but the cards are going your way, the fights are going your way, and then you can run really deep in an open tournament like that. And yeah, that can be a great experience. That can be super fun. So that's definitely something I would love to participate in. Now, of course, the logistics there are the issue where you need to get 8 people in the same lobby, and then that's a whole lot of lobbies. If you have that many people playing, you need to deal with no shows. You need to see like, okay, how long do we wait for people? Is there a penalty for being too late? What is the exact point system? This and that. How many admins do you have running around? Verifying everything. So that is going to be a bit of a headache. But if that can be pulled off, the logistics side of it, then I think that can be like an amazing experience for a lot of
So
the
are you
players.
talking about a live event, or are you talking more like it could be live, it could also be online?
I think so. Live, we've seen it with DreamHack,
Yeah, we have.
so I assume we're going to see it again, and could be fun to make the trip.
Yeah.
we can coordinate. But that is obviously a huge, huge hurdle for a lot of people. Or I think it's Sweden, right? So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
just a small little trip to Sweden to go play some battlegrounds. That's rough, man.
No,
That's
knowing what I know now, it would have been worth it, but
yeah, for
that's
sure, for sure.
that's that's if other people don't have the same idea, and
Well, on the other hand, you're gonna play some epic games then at that point, right? And you're gonna meet a lot of people
true.
presumably
Yeah.
if the competition. So one way or another, either the field is a little soft and you're like, yeah, let me score some money, or you get to hang out with a lot of people, which is like just imagine XQN makes the trip, like that's cool, or you can hang out with him. Hope he's not in your lobby, but it's hang out with him.
I don't mind.
But yeah, I think it would be really cool if we can do an online version of that because that will be obviously way way more accessible. But I do hope that DreamHack will repeat it, where there will be a live event. Now that more people know about it, it's probably going to be more popular because apparently not that many people showed up to
In
play
the
in it.
first one, yeah.
Yeah. But I do hope that they repeat it. But yeah, that's my take on it essentially. Where I think you want to keep, well, assuming that Lobby Legends continues, because we haven't had any confirmation on that. Also, no confirmation that it won't continue. So don't be too worried. It's one of those things where you just have to wait for them to make an announcement to say, okay, this is what the next year of competitive battlegrounds will look like. But I would not mind them to keep it the same. The qualifying process. I think it's brutal but fair. Where it's like, okay, well, there's a crap ton of talent thrown together, and 12 of you guys are going to walk out of there. It's like a cage, and you guys just fight each other, and at the end, 12 will leave it. But I usually find that while the games are really savage in that qualifying tournament, I can find small things that I could have improved on that would have probably made a difference, and I can really see why my opponents beat me. And that's honestly a pretty good feeling overall, where you can see, even though there's so much RNG involved in the game, you still see that the stronger players, generally speaking, will push through. And obviously, sample size is small, and 3 games, anything can happen, bad heroes, etc. But it's still quite consistent if you see how many names just keep repeating, right? Who
Uh,
repeatedly show up in that final 16.
Okay, so you are talking about the number of people going into the qualifiers. That's fine for you, but also when we talk about the actual structure of the qualifiers, right? Like that is also fine inside, because I think that's the thing when you look at when you go to the qualifiers, 3 games, right? I think that's the normal computer.
Yeah,
3 games is too
no.
little.
If we are talking about perfect world, absolutely. No, we changed some of the qualifier.
Okay,
Absolutely. No, I was talking about the top 16
right,
going in and then
right.
the 12 coming out of that tournament. I
Okay,
think
yeah,
the
that is
process in
okay
the
for you. Okay,
Yeah. No, I should have absolutely made that more clear, and thank you for asking because it's a very good question here. I would prefer that the tournament in the middle, the
The qualifying
stage,
tournament.
yeah, the stage after ladder, right? The
Right.
qualifier after ladder gets more attention as well because right now it really feels
Oh,
like,
that's a good reminder.
yeah, this was really more of a test version, hopefully, where they say, okay, let's try competitive battlegrounds. Okay, I need 16 players. How do we get to 16 players? Okay, we'll just do ladder, and then, oh, that's too many players. Okay, have them play against each other and then bring me 16 players. Okay, cool. And then that little part in the middle is just like, okay, get it over with, get it over with. Okay, I have the names. All right, you guys are playing. And that's fine, I think, for a first edition where they just need to get it down to a final 16 so they can go and start the big tournament. But now that we've had the first big circuit behind us, the first year,
Right.
it'd be great if we can refine that process in the middle where it's going to be broadcasted, casted, the different lobbies. We could even have a day one and a day two for that as well,
Mhm.
where we play a sufficient amount of games. Because right now, the minimum amount of games you're guaranteed is 3
Three.
when you make it to the qualifier. You can get 3 bad hero selections, right? Like,
100%. I'm sure
let's,
every
yeah.
at least one player in every qualifier has that. At
Yeah,
least.
where you just maybe not like awful, but you're just, like let's say in a meta where it's more important to hit triples,
Right.
no hook dusk, no Maiev, like you don't get that spicy hero where you're like, okay, I can win the lobby with this, where you just have to make do with what you were offered, and that can absolutely be the difference between making it or not making it. So yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think the middle part, I think the latter part is fine. I think Lobby Legends, while still pretty savage that you're only getting 3 games on day one as well. I do understand that they have a day one and a day two, and then it gets a little bit too long if they have to play even more. So
The
at
the
least,
first
yeah,
the first Lobby Legend qualifier, I played my 3 day games and then I was about to leave. Cause I thought, okay, we're playing,
we're
and then
done for
there'll
the
be a
day.
day two.
Yeah,
Like, and then they're like, no, stay. I was like, what? Oh, there's no second day. What is? I was very confused, and I was like, oh, I guess they just want this over with and done, And so, yeah, definitely. From my perspective, something that could be worked on. I definitely understand everything's a budget, right? But it is in terms of like competitive Ness is very weird that there's only 3 games and it's over, right? You work a lot hard. You work hard throughout the month. You play ton of games, and then it's like it all boils down to the 3. And you can definitely be screwed. You can also definitely not feel it, I guess, for a game, even though that's more your fault, right? Where you mess up
yeah,
a game and it lingers into the next ones. Um, but it definitely would feel better to have a little bit more games. I would say like 5 is probably like the sweet spot where it's like no one's really gonna complain about, oh, I messed up 5 games in a row. Like,
it was a lagged 5 games. I mean, that could actually be a thing depending on what server you play on. The
yeah,
what was the other one? Oh yeah, the I sometimes just get people in my chat asking me like, "Hey, who qualified? Who
yeah,
qualified? Who qualified?"
yes,
Because if you're not in the right Discord, like you don't really know who made it through. That's also pretty crazy where this is supposed to be the premier event, right? Lobby Legends, the premier event of Battlegrounds, and people have to chase that information of which players made it past the qualifying round. So that shouldn't be a hurdle, right? That should be made accessible. You want to make people excited for it. It should be more like pushed towards people, be like, hey, these players will be playing in the Lobby Legends, right? Right now, it really feels that that part of it is a bit sloppy.
yeah. It's definitely something I think that needs to do work. The promotion for Lobby Legends is severely lacking. Is maybe that's not nice, but that's how I feel. Where you don't really know the personalities of players that are competing. And when you compare that to sometimes to something like GM or something, they have these clips where they show the personalities of the grandmasters, little clips where they ask them questions or they'll get them to show like their pets or whatever silly thing. And there's really none of that for the players. Really, a lot of the players just kind of you know, the nice thing the nice thing about it is that streamers make it in, right? Like they actually do. The streamers are good enough to make it in consistently, where you're like, oh, I like, RE, I like XQ, and I'm gonna vote for that. And everyone else, especially if they're not in your region, you know nothing about. And I really think that's definitely an opportunity that's missed in when it comes to a Lobby Legends promotion, getting them excited, like having, oh, this player from this region's been doing really well, and little tips and nods there to people's consistencies and stuff like that. Sometimes the casters will do that job or try to do that job during the Lobby Legends, but if you're already watching the Lobby Legends screen, you're probably more knowledgeable than the average player. So
Yeah.
it definitely would be nice if they had a little bit more. Oh, let's have these little videos, events, promotions, and it's also not on the BattleNet and stuff during. Like, I do think that's also pretty weird. Where you could play completely during Lobby Legends and not know at all that it's going on, which is like very very weird to me. Like I know some of the other esports make sure to um, promote those events when it's going on, even on the clients and stuff like that. So definitely something to look into.
No, I mean, full agree.
Oh, okay.
It'd be nice if we have some little breaks in between
Right.
where, because right now we have these generic things playing where it's just like, we'll be right back, and there's a Murloc on the screen or this or that, and you could easily have some clips of the players there.
Yeah, usually when I think about that, I think that's like there for ads, but like, no, it's not. You know what I mean? Like the breaks.
No, ads are being played, I'm pretty
Oh
sure,
yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
anyone that has Twitch Turbo is
Right.
subscribed to the channel or whatever, they may as well see something, right, than just the placeholder. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
true.
it's got to be ads, right? It's like 3 minute break, right? Yeah, that's 3 minutes. I wonder
It's for
why.
the
Right?
players because the players need rest. It's not
They
about
got
the
to rest
ads.
exactly 3 minutes,
Yeah.
right? No, I mean, hey, I'm not hating on that. You got to make money, right? But it's that's how it works. But it'd be nice to utilize that time in a different way as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, so we've talked about the tournament format, getting into it, and then also the tournament itself, and then also another thing I wanted to talk about in Lobby Legends is just like the actual event of Lobby Legends. How do you feel about that? Watching the event, essentially, do you like the UI, like the pacing, the casting out, all that stuff? Like, what's your thoughts on that particular section
Oh,
of the event?
overall, I like it. I
Okay.
think a few small pointers is that now, especially with quests, it would be very nice to have a quest symbol next to the player's name in the Blizzard overlay that is grayed out when they don't have the reward yet, and that lights up when they do have the reward.
Uh-huh.
So that is some more information that you get where it could be really cool, for instance, to see like a Gallywix light up, I don't know, something crazy early, and you're just like, uh-oh, right? Is something's gonna happen here? Or, this you could see the sire completing a quest super early. And right now, the only way we know that is if the observer catches it when it happens, or when we see them next time on camera, but then we don't know when it completed. A lot of the time, we also don't know exactly what they have to do for the quest. Now, that might be a little bit more difficult to incorporate, but I do think that the grayed out quest symbol into the quest symbol that's lighting up, I think that's doable, right? To just show extra information. Something else that is also nice is we get a very cool overlay with the hero selection,
Yeah.
but it's gone very, very quickly. And I think this is something that, especially from a higher level point of view, is super interesting. Far more interesting than the first three turns of the game, where a lot of it is going to be sort of automatic decisions based on the quality of your minions, based on the hero you're playing. Your curve is going to be fairly consistent. But which hero you like specifically, with a combination of minion times being in and also armor being more or less relevant, that could be very interesting to have longer access to the hero selection.
Yeah. Having the hero selections linger the first couple of turns. I think that would help the gives casters a little bit more to say, because I do think the first couple of turns can be a little bit stale in what's going on. Oh, they bought the one drop, then they leveled to two, then they bought two drops. Like, a lot of times, a lot of players will be doing that. Sometimes things do differ, but being able to discuss the hero selection in detail, I'm like, oh, why did they pick this hero over the other? This is a more common hero, but maybe they like this, or their playstyle dictates that. I think would be very helpful if they had that information available to them in the first couple of turns. Same thing with the quest. If the quest options lingered, I don't know if they could do that as well, where in the hero selections they have a really cool UI on the side where they have all four. If they could, once a quest drop, replace those four with like the three of the quest, and
Ooh, right. Yeah, that'd be nice.
just have that linger for a couple, a little
Oh,
bit.
the problem is that's
Yes.
very tiny though, right? And there's the text is important on the quest because buy 7 Murlocs is
Yeah.
not buy
Once
12
once you
Murlocs.
recognize what the tiny images are, at least for the casters, then they'll be able to talk about it, right? So
Yeah, but
uh
the numbers are relevant, right?
they
So they need
they
to require
are.
the
I guess you'd have a number as well. No, that would be difficult, right?
it's too
Yeah, it's
small
too
because
small.
you can talk about someone being offered like pilfered lamps. I wonder why they didn't take pilfered lamps, but then you have to be able to see the requirements to be able to talk about that,
I,
and then to give you the requirement information is quite difficult.
I still think you can make some assumptions with it, even without the number itself.
Yeah, sure. It gives you
Yeah,
something to talk about where
yeah.
usually, I mean,
You don't
you're
know
going to be
what
very
options they have. Yeah,
it's going to be done very quickly because most of the time when you see something that looks really good on that hero in the lobby and they don't take it, you'll be like, must have been a really difficult requirement. Must have been a really difficult
yeah,
requirement. Or they pick something that's a bit out of character. Must have been an easy requirement, right? So
yeah. But
I think that gets old pretty soon.
it still also helps. Like, let's say they skipped um the plus 12. What's it
Staff,
called? What's it called?
staff
No, no,
of
no. The other the one that adds to your hand.
the plus 12
Is
that
it plus
adds to
12
your
or is plus
hand.
a 10? It's 12,
Oh,
right?
red hand.
Red hand.
Red
Yeah,
hand.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So staff also gives 12 now, but I understand. Yes.
Okay. What if they skip the red hand and then they pick something else, right? And then they do poorly. If you know they could have had red hand, regardless of knowing what the requirements are, you could have said, oh, maybe they could have actually had a much better game if they decided not to be greedy, picked up the red hand,
Ooh,
and then
premium backseating. Should have taken the red
yeah,
hand,
yeah, yeah,
dude.
for
This is
sure.
Ladder
Like,
Legends. This ain't
but
ladder,
as
right?
a caster, it's something you can talk about. Like,
I don't
we
know,
don't even
man.
need to know what the requirements are.
I don't know if I want to be playing in a tournament and I would have casters telling me, "Well, he could have taken the other quest. Yeah, that's true. He could have should
I
have
mean,
taken the other quest."
that's what
I don't know what the
casters do.
requirement was. I don't know what the logic was, but I could have taken the other quest. Right? That's pretty
Don't
savage, right?
I hear?
You're encouraging them to be chat. Just use hindsight, and if it didn't work out, say, "Well, I don't know why they didn't take the other option." Yep, no idea.
I've vaccinated Shady a lot.
Oh god.
he's
All right. Anyways,
fair
more
enough. That
information is nice. We could talk about, the degree of information we need, but yeah, hero selection is nice because that's just there. We know all the information and at least knowing when a quest is completed is also cool.
yeah. And in terms of the pacing and the UI, I really do like the UI itself. Right, I think they've done a really good job on that, especially when they added the hero selections. I do wish things would linger a little bit longer. That's maybe my one complaint in terms of UI. I would love to have more time to see the information, right? Especially with the hero selection, you have like a second or so, like, and then it's gone forever. And you have to like when we're watching it, like after it's done, we pause it, right? Because it's like, oh, it might be cool to check exactly what people had option, but uh, I would like if I didn't have to pause it and it's just like available. But that's a pretty small thing. But other than that, they've done a really cool job. It's pretty easy to see what goes on. I guess one thing we did talk about is having multiple um,
Point of view.
point of views. Yeah, because right now they do have the one, and then they'll switch around. I have tried in my own type of tournaments, having like 2 or more point of views, and I do think I did get people complaining that it was like too confusing. For me, it was fine, but I do think like for the general player base, it's probably easier to just focus on one and move around from there.
Bit too much going on one screen.
Yeah. Um, you could have a picture in picture of like important moments or when you don't want to switch away. So like maybe someone hits a triple and then you have that in a like a smaller section to see what they picked and stuff like that. That would be like maybe a little extra. So uh, you have more freedom to look at other things where sometimes you'll have someone hit a triple and you want to know what triple they have, but like they're deciding that for the whole turn. So like 60 minutes you're just looking at the triple and you can't really move away from it because it's like, oh,
It might pick at any moment now, right? And
like
then we
yeah,
miss it. Yeah.
you watch him 50 seconds like decide between the Hogger or the Brand or the Light Fang, and then like the last 10 seconds you move away because you're tired of it. Like you
That is
can't do
great.
that.
It's great what you're describing here because I feel that when I see the observer pick someone, and you can just hear it be like, come on, pick something, come on, I have other people to spectate, man, come on, don't sit here for 40 seconds on this triple screen. So I feel that when you talk about it, because I would have the same feeling if they give me the job of spectating, I'd just be like, well, I can't move now, so let's just wait. So yeah, that's a good suggestion where we have the smaller screen then where we can follow some other action while we're waiting for
But
the triple to be picked through
you
this
get
way.
the triples in the small action. That's what I'm saying. Like
Well, you might have okay, so you start out on this one,
yeah,
and then you see something else going on, and then the screen swaps.
we'll swap. Yeah,
Sure.
or
Okay, that's
well,
also
it could swap.
fine.
That you're adding more features in, but, but
Well,
sure.
no, well, you're saying that the triples would go to the small screen, right? So
Well,
it'd be more natural if you're looking at one screen and then the smaller screen gets introduced with different content,
with
where
different
you're
content.
saying
Okay.
you're watching the triple screen and it's taken too long, and then that would become the small one, and the big one would be something else. And like that's maybe a little bit too much. Anyways, that's details. You can figure that
Yeah,
out later.
yeah. The
Yeah,
idea makes sense. I think.
the idea is nice, where it's kind of a rescue from like, oh, I picked an action that's gonna, I want to watch the
These
conclusion of this, but it's gonna
these
take too long.
gamers take too long to pick a stupid light fang.
These damn tryhards, triple picking everything. Yeah, I mean, let's say you do have 40 seconds left and you're on 0 gold in Lobby Legends. Yeah, you're probably gonna take an extra 20 seconds to
I
make
would,
sure you're
yeah.
picking the right card.
I would, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, all right. It's like, okay, is it really the correct? Yeah, okay, I've looked at everything. What's everyone else playing? What's my next opponent doing?
I do that.
Which minion types are
I do
in and
that.
out again? Like, yeah, all right. So you can't blame him for doing that, but it doesn't make for good content because you're just watching 3 cards the whole time, and chat's gonna sit there. Oh my god, it's so easy. Just pick the good card. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sure. But generally, other than that, I do think the tournament itself is pretty smooth. The break is fine. Casters are
Yeah.
good most of the time, all the time. Sorry, I can't.
Oh, that's super. That's rough, Collins. No, I think I share your opinion in that overall the event is great. Absolutely, I think it's easy to get lost in looking at things that can improve, and then just say, oh, all these things could be better. But there's so many things they're already great. So overall, I'm just really pleased that there is a competitive circuit for BGs. That is something that made playing just way more interesting, where you talked about it yourself and you're playing. When you win, you feel better. When you lose, you don't necessarily feel worse, but you have more fire to be like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong, right? I gotta get it together. Whereas if there's nothing on the line, be like, okay, I lost, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, we'll go next game. We got unlucky here, whatever. Whereas now, if you lose, you want to know, right, that it was bad luck. Be like, okay, well, did I actually make mistakes? Because I got to fix that for next time, right? I don't want to be making mistakes. I don't want to be losing more games because winning matters now. So it makes it far, and also I think the viewing experience on Twitch, it makes the end of the month quite exciting. Where I see so many people coming in the chat, be like, BG rank, BG rank, BG rank. You want to see, okay, what rank is my
that
streamer?
annoys me.
What are they doing? I got okay with it. I think at the start it annoyed me a little bit as well. If you're doing well, it's fine. It's like, yes, watch my rank. It is beautiful, isn't
No,
that right? But
I'm only happy
yeah.
if it's number one, and
Okay,
I'm
I'm
never
not as
happy.
strict as you. I am okay with not being the best player in my region all the time. But especially if you're on a downswing, it can be a little savage if people come in the chat and be like, "Let's check on the rank." I mean, it's I now am okay with it because it's just normal. People want information; they want to know how you're doing. And I think when you're a streamer, you are a public figure, so
Blah, blah,
I am
blah,
okay with
blah,
it, and I
blah.
think that I should be okay with it. Now, obviously, it's different for everyone else, and at some point, it definitely bothered me. So it's something that I really start thinking about. Okay, it's okay now, even if I'm not doing well. People are okay to want to know what my rank is.
Fair enough.
The stupid thing is when they ask what happened when you're losing. It's like I lost points. That's crazy. I lost games. Believe it or not, the number went down after I lost games. So that's that's the one I'll never get over, I think. Yeah.
Fair enough. You did remind me. I do in particularly love when they have the like pro casters as well. Like they do this a couple of times, but they'll bring in a caster that has participated or competes
Yeah.
in those, and always the insights they get is always a little bit like, oh,
Latest one was Lee, I believe, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Those particular casts I always like enjoy a little bit more because like I guess it's nice to listen to other high level players talk about the game in their own particular way where there are things that I'm not thinking about where normally standard casters are always great, but just like they always throw in stuff where I'm like, that's a good point that I didn't think about. So those are the ones where I'm like, ooh, I love to have those in there.
And even things that look fairly obvious to us when they're pointing out, you don't. Sometimes you're a little bit too much in your own pro player
Game, yeah,
bubble,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
where you're like somebody. I get this sometimes, where somebody asks me a question in chat and be like, "Huh, I didn't think that would be a question." But you're right, it could be a question. And I'm so stuck in my own way of thinking. It's so obvious to me that it doesn't come up to me. So yeah, no, that's and you'll have that sometimes too, where a good caster will know when to bring those things up as well. And so that's kind of the thing where if you're a good player but also a good caster, that's where it's great because you sort of know when to maybe go a little lower than the level of analysis you would use on a situation because it's a little bit too specific. It's too techy. It's too be like, oh, they're
I
doing this.
I actually
Yeah.
love those when they start like nerding out. Like, oh,
No, I mean me too. But your audience is 0.00 something percent right at that point. So it's like, Collins is shady. Love that you did that. Yeah. Everyone else was, just be like, oh, it's boring. Just don't go too in depth on that one position. What do you think I do? Play this game all day? I just want to know why they did this. Yeah.
I like it. Anyways, other than that, I guess that's like the overview for it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're always missing stuff. Like in the previous one, we talked
That's
about
because we didn't repeat word for word what we said earlier, Collins, and that's okay. We got the gist of it.
yeah, but generally, Lobby Legends, happy to have it. I think it's good for the scene. A lot of fun. We did say that even though it's a bit exclusive, it's okay. Like we wouldn't mind a separate event, like a separate tournament where where it's more open, more people can participate. But I think that would be separate from Lobby Legends, just like an extra little thing. And if they, if it was like Swiss style, that would be great. But like you did talk about Blizzard could sponsor.
Yeah, where there are so what happens sometimes is that the actual organization is outsourced
Right.
to a different organization, but then Blizzard does throw in the prize
The
money,
prize
where it say,
money, yeah.
okay, you guys get this budget to make this tournament run. Here's the prize support, and then you guys have to enforce the rules. You guys have to handle registration, etc. Or it could come from Blizzard themselves, or it's completely independent third party, but then we are talking. I don't even know exactly how it works with a DreamHack. I'm assuming that is just sponsors DreamHack has, and that allows them to put up prize money for an event like that. But those are going to be rare, where we have these large independent organizers that can put up the whatever it is, couple grand, 10 grand, or however much they're throwing out for a 1 or 2 day event like this.
Yeah, so that would also be something really cool if Blizzard, if other people were to make tournaments like that, and Blizzard could sponsor them, so you'd have more events. They kind of do that for Masters Tours. I don't know if Masters Tours particular, but there are constructed events where Blizzard will sponsor the prize money for that. So that's something they could maybe try emulating in PGs. In terms of the Lobby Legends itself, pretty happy with it. Maybe there's too little games, though it's hard to change that because of the budget and like how long it'll take. You don't want to, I don't know if they want to do multiple days for a qualifier or anything like that. But that is a complaint. If they were to revamp it, I would love if there were a little bit more games. 5 is a sweet spot. More publicity for the players that are playing in the qualifiers and the main event. It's weird that uh, sometimes you don't even know that the tournament's going on. Unless you like check Twitch and then you see it's going on. But definitely would love to see more publicity, even in the client or whatever. And then the UI itself is pretty good. Little things could be done to make it nicer for the viewer experience, but overall, the UI I think has done a fantastic job overall. And cast is great. I think that's a big overview of Lobby Legends so far.
Yep. Yeah. Overall, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
It's easy to point out things that could be better, like I said before, but overwhelmingly positive.
Sounds great. All right, and now I believe this was our last topic last time, but we always do more than that. But we do have the patch 24.6 preview, right? And I would say there wasn't too much for in the preview for BG players, except for the Battle Bash, which is the thing they announced. It's kind of interesting because now the actual announcement is tomorrow, and the last time we talked about this was like a couple of days in the future. But
yeah, announcement of an announcement. So.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure they like their stats say doing announcements of announcements is good for them, or like they get some more impressions or whatever.
Yeah.
But it always weird to me.
They got the data. It's funny, right? But I mean, I had the same thing. I think when I was younger with advertising, like, why would you throw that much money at advertising? And then you get older, you're like, oh, it works. Okay, that's why to do it. I understand. So yeah, little side tangent there.
Yeah. But they do have a little event for BG players, a new cosmetic style. I guess I don't know how exactly to explain it. You wanna? I know you did this
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah, no, I'm just my daughter is climbing the stairs right now, so you may quite excited about it. You will hear her in the background. So yeah, they're introducing Battlegrounds Bash with 24.6. So that's the preview or the announcement of the announcement, but that will be going live. Do we see when was that tomorrow or the announcement?
November 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay, so the way how it works is that everyone will be given one hammer, and a hammer is sort of like a key where you have 10 different cosmetics and you need 10 hammers or keys, if you will, to unlock them. So you can then, after that first hammer, choose to buy 2 more for 1,000 runestones, which then also unlocks the event for you. So with the 3 hammers, you'll have 3 out of the 10 cosmetics unlocked, but then for every extra hammer you want, you will need to place top 4 in a Battlegrounds game. So you need 7 additional top 4s to unlock all the cosmetics.
And this only happens if you buy the event, the Battle Bash. If you don't buy the bash, then you get the 1 hammer. So every player is going to get a hammer for free. But if you actually want the rest of the event, the rest of the cosmetics, then you actually have to do 2 things. You have to buy it, and then you also have to get top 4. So I was talking with some of the viewers a while back when it was announced. They said this was more reminiscent of TFT. Team Fortress, not TF, yeah, TF2, Team Fortress, right? Two, yeah. TFT is a different. This is more reminiscent of TF2.
Team Fight Tactics, yes, not Team Fortress.
I just noticed they're so close together, um, where they get keys for doing well, and then the keys open boxes or whatever in TF2. But here you get hammers for doing well, and then the hammers open cosmetics. So, um, you know, for me in particular, right, I do think it's cool. Everyone gets a hammer. Uh, like it's essentially a cosmetics feature. I do think maybe in the announcements we're gonna have more like maybe like a new minion type or something like that. But for the players that like cosmetics, that like doing events, and it is a little bit more intense, I guess, than regular cosmetics because you, you normally don't get this much many cosmetics. I would say for the money, and then also you're getting like two legendary cosmetics, a lot of other things. So definitely for people that do like cosmetics, this is definitely a good deal. And also, I initially I was like, oh, this is gonna be hard. But then Shady's like, either you're good enough to get top four, you don't care about your rating, and you can just quit until you get a good, a good start or something like that.
Yeah.
So it should be doable for most players that want the event. Either you normally get top fours and you're doing well in the game, or if you if you struggle and it's hard to get top four, you can just leave, right? Because until you get the event or you get a start you want, you get your top four. So it should be doable for pretty much everyone that wants to get all the prizes. Let's say.
Yeah, I think the logic there makes sense, right? Because if you think about higher level players, it's not hard to get some top fours. And then
Some days shady, some days,
someday, well, top four, right?
some
That,
days shady.
okay, yeah, some days.
Can't even do it.
Some
Can't even
days,
do it.
there are some days. So there's a question in chat, the live stream. Do you know what's behind each hammer? Is it like a loot box? It is a loot box, but it's not like you have to keep buying hammers. You need to buy it one time, and then every time you top four, you get an extra hammer. At least that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong in that interpretation, but I think that's it, right? Where you buy one time entry
Hmm.
for 1,000 runestones, and then the other hammers are free. You just need to perform in the game to get them. So in order to get all the cosmetics unlocked, you'll need 7 more top fours, as you'll get 1 hammer for free, 2 hammers for buying in, and then the 7 more need to be earned by getting a top 4.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
it will be random.
you know
Go
what the cosmetics are. They do tell you. So there's a legendary board, a legendary strike, two emotes, I guess, sections, and then six hero skins.
ahead.
I I guess would be the so you know exactly what's in the box essentially, and you just
Yeah,
have to
you
keep.
don't know which one you're going to open, but yeah, you
Yeah,
know all the.
yeah,
Yeah. You could
yeah,
choose what you want with your free hammer. No, I think that's the point where you're gonna open it and then you'll get one.
yeah. Because
That's,
I think that kind of defeats the purpose of having it in this system where if you're able to choose what you want, then you get one for free.
yeah,
So
everyone
players would
agrees the
just
legendary
choose their
stuff.
favorite thing and then they're done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So um, they give you the hammer to give everyone a chance to participate. But then if you actually want everything in or a specific hero skin or whatever that you want, then you have to get participate in the event, get the two extra hammers, and then play out the top four. So you don't get to choose particularly what you want. You just get an option to get something for free. And I don't know the percentages. I mean, I assume it should be 1 out of 10. It'd be weird if like the legendary skins were like lower
I
percentage
wouldn't be surprised if legendaries are
or
weighted that
were
they're
they
more.
lower.
I don't know, right? It's pure speculation, but I think I think it also wouldn't be unfair to make legendary items more rare to unlock. But I think it could be anything. I think it could be 1 out of 10, but I would not be surprised if there is if you'll have a harder time getting the legendary stuff.
Imagine it's a boxy smash. uh, but that is I guess all the topics we had before. And unfortunately, I can't make new topics for today. I was thinking about doing that, but I don't have the application installed on my computer, so new computer, new problems, that kind of thing. So, last thing we can talk about is just the meta, I guess, of the time, and just like particularly, what's in, what's out. Um, I remember last time we talked, Kirchhoff was the best. Um, it, at the meta. Now it's different. Now it's pyramids. Things have changed, Shady, since we last talked.
Pyramid.
Yeah,
Let me have a look. Average placements. You have this for a current patch for
yeah.
last
Current
7 days.
pets. I have top five, but top one it's still Kirchhoff, so I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna.
Ah, just you're faking the stats. All right.
I'm not.
So I think it's interesting. We can go for top one because I don't
Because
know. I mean,
Kirchhoff is still at the top, and you want to talk about it anyway.
the interesting part is that I wouldn't rate Kurt as a top five hero right now myself.
Oh, okay.
I, I think that when you look at it, so my top five was different. And obviously, I made a video, a meta
Mm-hmm.
video,
Mm-hmm.
which where I talk about my five best performing heroes and some tips on how to play them.
Are
My
they
number
very
five,
similar?
some are, and I can see some of them because I think that top five can change week to week, right? Where you
Mm-hmm.
have different experiences, meta might shift a little bit here and there. But at the time of making the video, I had Scabs as number five. I
Interesting.
had Togwaggle number four. So
Okay.
that's somewhat relevant here.
Yep.
Togwaggle is number two. On number three, I had Lich B.
Okay.
So perfect correlation here. Number three as well for Lich. Then number two, I had Bran. But
Brand.
the
Okay.
problem, yeah.
Yeah,
My
but
number one is pretty
brand is
fun.
never gonna be like accurate.
Yeah. Bran, I think you really need to be so good at him and you need to know what you're doing because so many people, I see people making so many mistakes when they play Bran. Like the early turns are so crucial with Bran.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, they're very autopilot by now,
Systematic.
where
Yeah.
even though they might be very difficult, I'll probably make the right play just because I've played so many Bran games where the times where I don't get my Bran on turn four is extremely rare. And I think that still happens for a lot of people where they pick Bran and they don't have a Bran on turn four. And I think you've messed up either where you shouldn't have picked Bran in that lobby, or you messed up something early where sometimes on 4 gold, I will do something where I like double sell, right? Let's say I bought a Swabby and an economy unit. I'll actually sell to get to an extra battle cry so that on 4 gold I already have 3 battle cries, and then I'll be able to get the brand on time very quickly or very consistently. And I'll also hold a lot of cards if I don't have to play them. So often I get the battle cry quest with Bran, and it's
Must be
so
nice. Must be
yeah,
nice.
you have like 3 battle cries in your hand already, or you get a play elemental thing, or you get a play Murloc thing, or you get a it's you'd be so surprised how often you can cheese that requirement. Or it's cards to the hand, and you have the battle cry with the one that gives you coins, the battle cry with the one that gives you gems. There's tons of quests that you can cheese super hard with Brand because you double the effectiveness of the battle cry, which will put more cards on the hand. You'll summon more cards with Alley Cat, etc. There's so many ways you can abuse it. So for me, Bran is second, and then Brucon number
Brucon, right?
one
Yeah.
because anytime you get the summon quest and it's remotely useful, it's broken. Like I got like cookbook summon 16 or something. I was like, okay, that's in the first place. It's just I'm gonna get a cookbook in 2 turns
Two
or three
turns.
turns, and then it's over. And by the way, I'm not even weak. I don't have to buy shitty units. All I need to do is just level to 3, use my hero power a couple times, and then buy some deflectos, and it's over. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff there. But Vol'jin is number 4 or 5. Yeah, Vol'jin's number 5. And I can absolutely see that because I think in a lobby where you have access to mechs, Nagas, and Quillbore, Vol'jin is also just deadly because it's so easy to make a big thing. And then that big thing becomes a big Mechrel or a big Deflecto. And we just know how good that is, right? Vol'jin is just deadly in a lobby where you can easily transfer stats to mechs. So I can see Vol'jin being part of that top 5. The reason he wasn't in is that I was just doing better with the others.
Mhm.
But again, that's just one player, one sample size, and my feeling at the time of
Yeah,
how well.
I mean, you don't have
Yeah,
to follow this to the T, and a lot of
yeah,
these are very like I guess unique heroes, right? Like that's the weird thing I guess about this particular list is these heroes are not the clear cut standard. Oh, you just play the game and the game plays itself. You actually have to change your game plan with almost all the heroes here, right? Like
yeah,
with
yeah.
Kirchhoff, you have to change your game plan. With Togwag, you have to change your game plan. With Lich Bazel,
All,
you
all
do.
of all
Yeah,
of them are
yeah.
weird. Yeah,
Everyone except like maybe Cookie, right? Cookie, you can like do normal stuff and like it's fine, but like you don't want to be doing normal stuff with Cookie in either, right? But you
yeah.
can, like, you can get away with it. I would say you can probably get away with it most of the heroes because they're good heroes, but like almost every single hero in like the top, even the top 10, the curve is not like oh, just play standard and you're perfect. You have to do a weird thing with
Yeah.
it. So I
Now,
do
to be
think
fair, a lot of heroes have their own curve,
yeah,
but
but
yeah,
I would say like that was less relevant in like different metas, I guess. But
yeah.
especially now, not especially now, but like now you can kind of like I would say like you normally like quests don't really force you to play different
Oh, one
curves.
second, Collins. I need a moment, but
All right,
you
sure. I will
finish
talk.
this topic. Yeah.
Normally it's me leaving and Shady talking, so it's kind of interesting to have the opposite. But I'll tell you, like normally when you're playing heroes, especially in the quest meta, you want to level to 2 and then play standard because with quests they encourage you to buy minions, right? They would encourage you to spend gold buy minions, but a lot of the heroes that we're looking at don't really force that. I guess Kirchhoff does that the best, right? And that's maybe why it's the most consistent because it fits perfectly into the quest metagame of buying minions and spending your gold. And maybe just as long as you do that with quest meta, quest consistency, you're getting stats and it feels good. And maybe that's why it's doing the best. But a lot of the other heroes, they want you to level. They don't want you to spend gold in the particular turns where quest people encourage you to spend gold. So it's pretty interesting that um, these are the heroes that are doing the most consistent. But I would say that because these heroes are all so unique, you really shouldn't follow the tier list to a T because if you're not good at playing these heroes specifically, you're not gonna do well. Like if you don't know what to do with Brucon, you're not gonna play it as well as someone who does, right? Same thing with Lich Bazaar, Vol'jin, Cookie, all these heroes essentially. You have to know the heroes before you play them well, at least. I mean, you can play any hero you want, but if you want to play them well, you want to play them to the standard that they're showing in these lists, then you actually have to understand what makes the heroes good. So that's why I think it's pretty interesting that these are the ones at the top, right? And another thing, that's why I don't like love tier one because I think that's what happens. That's what happens when you look at tier top 1%. You get players that are very good at playing all the heroes, or like the heroes that do well. So because of that, you get the weird heroes doing well generally, like because the players are good enough that they're able to capitalize on the advantages of each particular hero. Right, when you go down to top 5%, then you get Daryl. Right, then you get Pyramid. Right, these are heroes where you don't really have to, play weird, to play to the hero. You just press Pyramid button, get +5 health every turn. That's good enough to do well. So that's actually why I like looking at the lower ratings because I feel like you don't have to use your brain in every single turn with some of the heroes that they recommend, right? Like obviously the good heroes will still be like top 10. But you get Daryl in the list. Then you get Pyramid in the list. They're a lot easier to play, you just dance on things or so. And I do think if you're like new or you're just trying to learn, that's actually more relevant for you, than looking at the top one. I should actually this is a good top. This is a good tip. Daryl sucks. Yep. I would say Daryl is actually not good if you're like if you understand the game right. Like if you're listening to me, then then if you would listen to me, then these tips are not relevant for you, right? But if you'll actually learn something from the things I'm saying, then these are actually good tips. Like I think if you're new or a learning player, picking up Daryl and just dancing, you're not really going to win with Daryl, but you will do do better on average than if you were just to pick a random hero and then try to win the game. Because just getting free stats, especially when mechs are in, is really powerful. I would say mechs are probably the most consistent minion type right now, just because uh, a lot of the synergies are really good, especially with quests. Red Hand with mechs really good. Uh, Animal Bribe with mechs really good, right? Dancing Daryl with mechs really good. Even Pyramid, just putting some health on your deflectors so they don't get one shot is it's not too bad. Obviously not as like crazy as stacking attack, but still has some value there. So um, I do think it is good to just be aware if you're not like super comfortable with the game and the meta, just be like, oh, these are easier to play heroes. Maybe they don't always win, but if I don't know what to do and the options aren't clear, like, oh, these 4 heroes and there's a Daryl and I don't know what to do with the other 3 heroes, you just pick the and mechs are in, you pick the Daryl, you dance on Deflectos, get your top 4, move on with the game. That used to be a strategy of sorts, even for high tier players when heroes were significantly more important, and you just get like a Daryl and like 3 unplayables. You just pick the Daryl, you get your top 4, and you move on. You just like cross the game from your mind. Some people like want to win every single game. I'm one of those people, and I'll just like try to force a hero that can win the lobby, but it's definitely safer to go for the hero that can equalize the game and just get you 0 points and like the flip for a -50. So that would be my thoughts on that. But just looking at the hero selection, nothing like jumps out too much. We can kind of take a look at the quests as well, but I haven't actually add that in. I guess I'll look it up. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh, welcome back, Shady. Thank you for saving me.
Hey,
Came back just
right
in
on.
time.
What are we talking
uh,
about?
I was just talking about the types of heroes that are good for different levels of play, I guess.
All right. Yeah.
Because Jake Herrick said Daryl sucks, and I had to jump on that and say, yeah, it's not as bad. there are reasons to take it, but if you're someone that would listen to my advice, then yeah, I agree with you. But if it, if you're someone that wouldn't listen to my advice, but if you're listening to my advice, like if you actually value it, then Daryl actually has some advantages for you, since you most likely
Don't undersell how much influence you can still have over players that are doing really well, right? If you have, I think
sure.
once you're breaking 10K, I think that's even more like our, maybe not our target audience, because obviously there's a lot more players that aren't 10K, but I think percentage wise, you'll have more of them, just because that's the kind of content you want, right? Like 2 high-level players talking about, oh, I like this, I like that. So it's, yeah. I'd say there's still people listening that want to take our advice that still shouldn't be playing Daryl.
Daryl is fine. Stop hating. Why is everyone hating on
I
Daryl
just
these
don't think
days?
it's a good Daryl meta. I don't think he like the quest kind of takes over for his hero power.
Yeah, I
Or
agree.
yeah, you can have a quest that gives you tempo, and then you're like, okay, why am I Daryl? It's like somebody gets red hand. All right, okay, why am I Daryl? They just gain tempo anyway.
All right, that's. I mean, fine, Shady, dude. Daryl haters in chat. Okay, whatever. It's it. You want to talk about some quests and some quest rewards? I think that we did do that as well. Just like the
Yeah,
ones
I
that
think we've
jumped
done
out
that
to you.
recently, but
Oh,
I
or
don't.
was
I don't.
that two top 2 podcasts ago? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember. Okay, everything's
But I
blurring
don't.
together, Shady.
Sorry.
Everything's blurring
Everything's
together,
oh,
Shady.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
No,
remember
I
how.
mean, but it's fun. I remember not having that much time to really go over it there. So let me.
We don't have to really go over it. Just the ones
No,
that
no, no,
jump out to
not
you.
in depth, but the stuff I couldn't talk about last time.
Okay.
Um, so let me get to the quests and rewards. So in terms of the rewards, let's see if they're loading in here. Yeah. So Anima Bribe is one that I think is so when it comes to most difficult
Oh,
quests, I think Anima Bribe is up there. Where I
really?
think,
Hmm.
yeah, I think if you're talking purely from an APM and just have to really
Oh,
order.
oh, oh, oh! You mean difficult to play, not like oh these they give you like it's the same as staff. No, no, I see what you're saying. Difficult to play. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Animal
Yeah,
Bribe is
yeah,
maybe one of the
yeah,
most difficult.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm talking about, okay, you have it. Now, how do you make the
how
most
do
of it?
you?
I think
Yeah,
that's very
okay, I
difficult
see
with
what you're
Anima
saying.
Bribe. I think like lamps and Sinstone, they're also very difficult, but that is because options, 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 right? Like the whole game just opens up to
Right.
you, and you can always do better when you're playing with Sinstone. You feel like you never finish your turns and this crazy, crazy turns, especially if you're Nagas. But with Anima Bribe, it's less so about, oh, I got to make sure I order everything correctly, although that's always useful. Anima Bribe, I think, is very difficult because you need to really, really ask yourself, do I roll here or do I just dance?
Mm.
And I think if you're new to Anima Bribe, every shop is like, well, I got to buy that, right? Because now I'm selling something. And then, oh, those stats are now on that minion. So therefore, I am just legally obliged to buy that minion because I buffed it with stats. And, now that I bought that minion and I sold, then I have to keep selling. And that's how you end up with like a 40 health tunnel blaster at the end of your turn. And you're like, something went wrong
Raise
here.
your hand if you've ever had a 40 health.
Like that happens so easily when you're playing Anima Bribe. So I'd say for me, when I started performing really well with this quest, what clicked for me is that you don't have to buy everything. And even if you have to sell a card off your board and it happens to buff something in the shop, you don't have to buy that minion. So you essentially play a little bit more normal, where of course you're still going to buy really good stat buys and things that are very efficient to buy. Like for instance, you're playing Brand and you could play Murazond, Reef Explorer. That's great, of course, because those cards don't cost you anything and just give you free stats. So that's beautiful. If you're playing with the demon that buffs the shop, that also makes things a little bit more enticing to buy. But for the most part, what I'm doing with Anima Bribe is I'm trying to secure good targets to buff. And then once I'm there, I'll figure it out. So I try to pick good buffs on the way, things that make sense on the gold, thing that makes sense for my board as well, because I'm trying to win fights while I'm getting to it. But for the most part, I'm going to be chasing that Mecro, that Deflectobot, that Hydra, that whatever makes sense at the time to dance on, because I think that's really the tricky part. And then once you have that unit secure, then you can be a little bit more, okay, let's see how we buff now. But I think that a lot of players do it in the reverse. They try to just get a big pile of stats, then with the idea of, oh, I'll just transfer this to something else. And this is how you end up with these like 3-unit boards I see all the time, where I see so many Anima Bribe players have like 2 Hydras and then like 2 shitty minions, and that's it. And I'm just like, that's cool, but Leroy Hydra don't really play well together, Manted Queen and all that. So yeah, you still need to play the game. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You still need to play the game when you have Anima Bribe. You can't just treat every shop as, oh, I will just dance on this and just empty it out, because that's not going to be better than rolling for good cards.
Yeah, that's why we don't like that price. Now, speaking of not playing the game, cooked book. Like, you don't have to play the game. You're playing your own game once you get that card. You're just like, oh yeah, I'll just buy everything eventually, and then I'll
Yeah.
find a deflector. I've won. It's quite nice. Magnetic, pretty good. Uh, but yeah, I'm completely taking your side. I agree. Like Anima Bribe, definitely a more complicated um prize to
Yeah,
utilize
I'm
effectively.
with you with the cookbook, by the way. It feels like maybe over 80% of my cookbook picks are number ones, because I think this is broken.
It's
Where
very, dude. I knew day one. I was with it. I was like, oh, day one, this is good. Okay. But no.
Well, I think that you need to know when to pick it, right? Because
That's
there's so
that's
many
the
times.
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
just
so
picked it
easy to
every
pick.
time.
Yeah, yeah. If you pick this in the wrong spot, like that's an 8, because it'll
Yeah,
kill you.
yeah, it will
It's
kill
too
you.
slow. Because once you've started buffing, it's like you're kind of stuck there. You're like, I need to make this work because I'm so behind in other strategies, right? So if you don't get there, it's like Nomi, right? It's like you get there or it's 8,
Mhm.
because you're so weak because you didn't manage to make it work.
Now,
So
cookbook know me. Now we're
yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or I've also done Anima Bribe, Nomi, which is very fun because then you just have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
20 elementals you throw on max. It's so good. Yeah, that was a fun game. So, but yeah, cookbook is super super strong if you pick it in the right setting. So I think if you can start cooking on turn 8, I think it's a really good time. If you could start cooking before turn 8, you're making record pace.
I love it. You're
So
calling it cooking. Just start
yeah,
cooking.
yeah, you start cooking, right? Yeah, 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 I think that's a common term for the quest. I think if you start cooking turn 9, that's where things get a little bit like, "Ooh, I'm a bit late." Where I've had a bear off game where I completed cookbook by turn 6, and I ended that game on 43 health. That's how dominant it was. So if you can get this online turn 6, you're going to do incredibly well.
Yeah.
I think turn 7, turn 8 are more realistic goals. I think if you're past turn 8, it's going to be rough.
Yeah. Daenerys as well could with the first turn 1 cookbook and you trigger it early, like that can also be really stupid.
Yeah.
So there's definitely
I think it's
some.
under the assumption of mechs in, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
can work without mechs, but it's not as good.
You have to
It's
think.
really,
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
yeah,
Not non cookbook no mechs means you have to play the game, which
yeah.
that's not what we're trying to do here in this channel. Like, no, we want we.
Oh, this reminds me. I was watching Saf play.
Uh,
And so Saf recently came back to the game. This
okay.
Sapphire X, really, really strong player, multi leaderboards, top level finisher. And he got cookbook
Uh,
and he got a pretty easy. Yeah, go ahead.
I love how you're like, I have to add all this like these like list of achievements next to his name. Like, oh,
Well, I just want to say that he's
he's a
good at the
good
game
player. Okay.
because what I'm about to tell you, well, it's not like it's crazy, but
Mm,
he likes to go quite aggressive. He
mm,
loves getting his 6 drop, his 5 drops.
right.
And he had a game where he had 2 triples lined up,
Mm,
and his cookbook was like play X amount of Nagas and Beasts, and he was going to complete it fairly early. He was
mm,
definitely going to be on that window of cooking at turn 7 or turn 8.
mm.
And he had these 2 triples, and I told him to just take 4 drops because you don't even want to level past tier 3 here. It's
Oh,
great
you
because
were
you're going to
helping him. Okay.
yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm basically just in chat backseating him because I just rated it, right? So I'm backseating his cookbook game and I'm telling him just take 4 drops because you're going to be buying minions anyway. That's good for your cookbook. And those 4 drops are going to keep you healthy. And it means that you will eventually buy more minions anyway because you didn't spend that gold leveling. And you don't need 5 drops. You just need to get that cookbook counter up so then you can buy magnetics and they're huge, right? And he's just like, now I want to take 6 drops. And like that is such an for me, that's so like I can't even think about like taking 6 drops when I have a cookbook that's ready. That means I'm not cooking for 2 extra turns. That means
Yeah,
I'm taking a
yeah,
bunch
yeah,
of
yeah. But
damages.
he's just
Like
coming back. I feel you. I
it
feel you.
feels so wrong, right? But like, but he gave me the shady. This is probably right, but I really don't want to do it. So I'm a compromise, and I'm gonna take some 5s, right? And I didn't even see how the game ended, but he got a hogger, so I'm assuming it was okay. I
You
think
got
he went down to
He
like,
made the right choice.
well, he went the 1-shot range, right? So he gets a bad fight, he's dead
Oh, yeah, okay, I see.
because he's not, like with my plays, buying 4 drops, he's healthy,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
gets
he's
big,
hella
all normal.
strong. Yeah.
But at some point, he rolls past the deflecto, and I'm just like, oh no, I can't watch this because that's like the premium card, right? Deflecto and Mackerel, those are like the 2 cards you're buying when you're playing Cookbook. Like you want just as many of those as you can. So he won with the Hogger. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. I mean, he's a good player, right? And you give someone with Cookbook the Hogger, it's probably going to end well. But it's one of those. That was a very clear example for me where you could see that if you played a quest meta a ton, you sort of change the way how you think about it. And
Mm-hmm.
triples are just a means to an end. In the end, now if quests and buddies aren't in, they carry way more weight. You need your triple to do something. You need to give it direction, right? You only take a 4 drop as your triple if you really have to, outside of a buddy meta, outside of a quest meta, right? Because you'd rather get a 5 or a 6 for direction. But yeah, anyways. Is there any other quests you definitely wanted to talk about or not really?
I didn't want to talk about any quest really. I was saying we did the previous ones. So I'm just following the script, but we could be done.
All right, all
Yeah,
right, all right. No, I think the one I will bring up again, which I may repeat myself here, is Mayhem, where I've won a lot of
Menagerie
my
Mayhem.
Mayhem. Yeah, I've won a lot of my Menagerie Mayhem games. I'm very happy to take this quest when the requirement is easy enough. I think a lot of people treat it like it's an unpickable thing that doesn't do anything, but it works really well with a number of factors. So Mayhem makes your tech cards deal a lot of damage. So I've had a Theodore game where the Theo gets to like 30 damage. So suddenly your Theo is trading 1-for-1 with some heavier hitters or some poison minions or this or that. So that alone is already a really good advantage. But if you are playing Theodore and you're buffing a cleave and a divine shield and stuff anyway, that extra damage does ramp up. I've played it with Whelp Smuggler, where I had Amalgam as my dragon and then a Bronze Warden, so you get a lot of extra health that way. It was a pretty fun game. I also played Ground Shaker, so like Golden Whelp Smuggler with the Amalgams and stuff, so you get a ton of health. And it's just it's a nice little boost. You can play Deflectobot as well. You can maybe even play 2 Deflectobots and then have Amalgam for extra type, where, hey, if you get like 3 attack on your Deflectos every single turn, that starts adding up. That does a lot of work. So yeah, I think this is an overlooked quest where it definitely does do something. It's not something you have to force, but you can absolutely win Menagerie Mayhem games.
That's good to know.
All right, I will leave it there because we did touch on quests not too long ago, but there you go. My maybe slightly updated review. I'm not sure how much we talked about the Animal
Yeah,
Prep last time.
it's interesting because I'm trying to think. Oh, what did we talk about in the like offline, and what did we talk about last week?
I don't think we talked about quests on the offline one.
Oh, we didn't. What did I do afterwards? Did we just talk about heroes? I guess we just talked about heroes.
I think we just talked about the game where I asked you how you were doing, right? And I think you maybe brought up like a specific game, and we just went from there. We mentioned as well that the game does feel like it revolves a little bit more around your triples now than at the start, right? So I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure
for
that
sure.
we went from there, that it's easier to pick a hero that is not as tempo oriented. So something like a Maiev, I think, got a lot better than at the start of the meta. I think at the start of the meta, Maiev was really tough because just sitting for sixes was almost always a death sentence. And now I get away with that very often, where I
Yeah,
can
I
just
was
take
I
sixes.
was doing that at the beginning. Maybe not the right idea, but that was
Yeah, but you just force your playstyle no
yeah,
matter what, right?
yeah.
And then
Well, that's not true. I mean, sometimes I learn. I just haven't had to learn to adjust this because I was off for most of it. Where the period
yeah.
where I would be adjusting and learning, I was just not here. So I just skipped that part. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. I think something we also talked like but this might have been off stream, but like not even on the recording.
Okay.
I talked to you about a test game I had, which I thought was just brilliant. That
I
was an
hated
Anima
it.
Bribe.
No, I hated it.
Yeah, guys, you would have loved this.
No, it was
This was an Anima Bribe test game where I fight an Exodia player, so a Omega Buster Exodia player, and I'm just running regular Anima Bribe. I'm still on tier 3 as well. I'm
I
just
hated it.
chilling. I'm just buffing Deflectos. And what do I steal, right? On their board, it's Buster, Kangur, Baron, and I think like another Buster. Yeah, like 2 Busters, 2 Kangurs. Basically perfect. Blaster, Kangur, Buster, Baron. So I have the whole comp. It's just ready there. But now, what advantage do I have?
He
I'm
should have
playing
sold
Anima
his
Bribe.
whole board. I don't understand why he didn't do that.
But yeah. Why don't you just like lose the game if you fight Taz? Yeah, because you lose anyway,
Wait,
right?
how
Just
come he
sell your
didn't one
board.
shot you in the first place? His board is insane.
His board is good, but I have like big ass Deflectos.
Ah,
So
okay. So you don't die. Okay.
yeah, big ass Deflectos. It's just the unit is so good. It's so good. But anyways, what it comes down to is what I do is so I fight him, right? So then I freeze after hero powering. I buy 3 minions. So I buy the Buster Kangur. Then the next turn I start by buying Kangur. Now you do that because you really don't want to buff those because you need to
Mhm,
kill him with the Blaster.
mhm.
So you don't want any health on those. I buy everything except the Baron, and then I just sell all my big Deflectos on the
Oh, you
Baron.
sold your deflectors as well. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just becoming Exodia, right?
Okay.
So
Okay. I see. I see.
I kept 1 Deflecto because I had board space for it.
See, there it is. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I kept 1 Deflecto, and then I end up with a 120 health Baron because I danced on it. So now it's Exodia versus Exodia, but my Baron has 120 health.
Was it
So
relevant?
I mean, no, because they missed position because I had a cleave. So this was cute,
You
right?
have
They
a
had a
cleave.
cleave. I had a cleave, but I sold it to make a bigger Baron.
Oh, okay.
So they put the Buster next to the Blaster in the expectation of protecting their Kangur. Now I
Ah.
don't know why they did that because if I kill the blaster, I would kill the whole board anyway because
Yeah,
the
but he
blaster.
doesn't know you have a blaster, right?
No. So I'm talking about my cleave going into their blaster because they're playing Exodia.
Right.
Now, if my cleave hits their blaster,
Mm-hmm.
even if I cleave a Kangaroo at the same time, I believe what happens is death rattles trigger left to right.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I've cleaved the Kangaroo,
Mm-hmm.
the blaster would die, killing the busters, activating the Kangaroo. So his combo would go off anyway. Now, I think in their mind, they were thinking, oh, if my Kangaroo gets cleaved, my combo stops. But I think that only happens if the cleave wouldn't end up killing the blaster, which in this case wouldn't have been the case. But so they put the buster instead of the Kangaroo, and you know what happens
Dude,
then,
how
right?
long ago was this game?
4 days.
4 days ago. You're talking like you just played it yesterday or like an hour ago.
Don't you have that? Like a lot of
I
games
do.
in your memory,
It's just
right?
weird,
Yeah,
though.
that's what happens. We play so much. It's crazy. I don't want to know how much bandwidth is in my brain that's taken up with just specific battleground games where I can tell you like, okay, this turn I did this, and then I fought them, and then I probably had about this much health, and then they got a little lucky here. Their Leroy hit my shield.
I
And
recycle those games like every week. They're gone.
yeah.
I don't remember.
So the ending of that fight is that he summons microbots instead of busters because the buster is instead of Kangaroo. You need to have Kangaroo in front of
But
the
he
buster,
played
otherwise you
himself,
summon
is what I'm
microbots.
hearing.
Yes, but even if I had a cleave, it wouldn't have worked. So what I'm saying is it's just probably inexperience. Didn't know what would happen if the blaster got cleaved.
Cool.
Anyways,
And
so
on that story, we shall end it.
we shall end it. Okay, so yes. Wow, that's rare. Usually it's me saying, "Okay, Collins," and now it's been enough. But I get it. I was
No.
enthusiastically talking about a test game.
The problem is, like, I feel like I don't like this. I've done this episode before. I really don't like it because all of the all the reactions. I'm like, I feel like I'm replaying them, and it's just not the same.
It's not genuine.
It's not
You're a
genuine.
fraud. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, I'm a fraud. I know everything that he's gonna say already. It's not the same.
I knew it was gonna be a 120 health Baron chat. It's not the same.
You did tell me.
I did tell you, but that was even before the stream. All right, guys. We'll call it here then. Thank you very much for listening, and it was a lot of fun. Next time, hopefully we get it right the first time. So then you do get our unfiltered comments, unfiltered reactions. No time to rehearse.
Yeah, I mean, computer issues happen from time to time, and honestly, we've gone a long time without me having issues. I'm usually pretty good at that. So
yeah. I mean, we've done over a year of podcasts with basically no issues. Right?
Yeah, like a year, a couple months at this point. So pretty good. But thank you guys for joining us here. We'll see you next time. Yep.
Yes.
I'm skipping it.